Hello, everyone, and welcome back to God Sells Turnbuckle. And it is time once again for some more predictions, and we are going to be going with AEW's Double or Nothing 2021. And this is going to be the first time that AEW's done a full crowd, or at least attempting to do a full crowd. I feel like there's still a few tickets left, but more than likely it looks like it's going to be a sellout going into Sunday's show itself. First time we've seen a full wrestling crowd in well over a year because of the pandemic, everything to go along with that. So it should be an interesting show to see, maybe who's over or anything to go along with that. I don't necessarily know that's really the case because they've had a decent amount of people in there. And I feel like you're still going to get the people who are over being over and who you kind of assume would be, because there's been a lot of cheering towards some people, a lot of booing towards others. The heel face dynamic is a little bit better than where it used to be with AEW at this moment in time. So, I don't feel like that's going to change too much there. So I don't feel like we're going to have like some crazy surprise like, oh, this person's been a heel for so long, but they're getting cheered like a babyface. I could be completely wrong on that too. That could be completely the case on Sunday for that one as well. But let's go ahead and get ourselves into it. Start with that buy-in show match, and it is going to be for the NWA Women's Championship. It is going to be Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion, going up against Riho. Yes, Riho is actually going to be back for this one, so they were able to bring her back over for because it was, I don't think it was rumored, but she went back to Japan after the Women's Eliminator tournament happened, and now they're bringing her back over to be able to do this buy-in match. And I don't think they're changing the title here on this one as well. I feel like they're going in a completely different routes with Serena Deeb at this moment, and this is going to solidify that a little bit more. As we've seen on AEW, at least on the AEW side, that she's been a little bit more aggressive, but she's also been going up against baby faces. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit more of what you're going to see here at this point, and they're going to have Serena Deeb go over in this match. So up next is going to be the Casino Battle Royal. I've always kind of never been a big fan of this one based off of how how they've done this in the past. I feel like they've made it a little bit better over the years for that, but overall still not the biggest fan of this Battle Royal concept. But it does play off the gimmick of the show, so yeah, in the end it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's just I feel like they do it at every pay-per-view at this point in time. Now, in the terms of a winner on this one, I'm going to go with Christian Cage. I don't know, it feels kind of right based off of who's in the match that ends up being Christian Cage. Also, I feel like there's been a lot of interviews out there where he's been wanting to have a match with Kenny Omega. Maybe spoilers for later on. We'll see where my picks go on that. But it's definitely going to play off of that whole aspect of, he tries to outwork everybody in the actual AEW side. Now, when it comes to the mystery person here, I'm not sure who it's going to be. I'm not even sure it's going to be a huge name to begin with on that particular side of it as well. There's a lot of talk of Andrade. There's a lot of talk of Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, or everything like that. I don't know if those are really going to be the picks here, unless if they're going for a massive, huge surprise on that one. So we'll see who it ends out being on that. And they may play off of the whole aspect of the most recent Dark Side of the Ring, and it could be Nick Gage as well, though I'm not very familiar with him because I'm not always familiar with many of the independent people with those particular ones. But there's been a lot of potential talk on that side as well. We'll see who that mystery person is. Obviously, it's not going to be any of the most recent release, like full on releases, not contracts up or everything like that type of area. It won't be any of the most recent WWE releases because they've still got their 90 days to go along with that. So more likely won't be them. It'll be interesting to see who the Joker card is going to be this time around, who their quote unquote surprise is going to be for this one. Up next is going to be Adam Page going up against Brian Cage. Yes, we got more Cages with this one. And this is basically playing off of what happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago when, well, you guessed it, Brian Cage got a win over Adam Page in a over Hangman Adam Page in a match on Dynamite after like some shenanigans before the match, an attack before the match, everything to go along with that. I feel like this is where Adam Page is going to get a victory on this one. He's going to get, basically in this sense, he's going to get his win back to go along with it. And I feel like it'll be a pretty decent match, but we'll see how everything ends up playing out in the end. Up next, we are going to have Sting and Darby Allin going up against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Yes, another Page to go along with it as well. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. This is the first time Sting has had a match in over 6 years in front of people. The last match was a cinematic match at the last pay-per-view, but now he's going to be actually having a match where he'll be taking bumps in the ring, or potentially taking bumps in the ring, and in front of people. So it's going to be an interesting one. Now they've had, basically Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page kind of getting one over on them here. And I feel like that needs to kind of continue because they had been building up Scorpio Sky a bunch recently. I know Ethan Page is more new in AEW at this moment, so they haven't really been, have much chance of building him up going forward. Maybe they will be continuing on with a little bit more with that. And I'm actually, even though this is Sting's first match in front of a crowd, I'm going to go with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page because I do feel like they're going to be putting over some younger talent on this one. And this is a good spot because I feel like they've been wanting to go somewhere with Scorpio Sky for a while, and this would be a good way of going, at least in my own personal opinion. This is why it's predictions. Could be completely wrong on it. But I'm going to go with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. So this is now going to bring us to the AEW Tag Team title match. It is the Young Bucks. And they are going up against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. This one is a coin flip, and I kind of thought about doing Moxley and Kingston in this one. But then I don't think it's it could be them. It could really be them on that one, because I think people are clamoring to see Kingston with an AEW title in some way, shape, or form, even if it is for a short run. And more likely this would be a short run based on other events that are happening in like Jon Moxley's life and everything like that. With Renee having their first child here soon and everything like that, I imagine he's going to be there for a bit. But I'm going to go on the aspect of that this match is here maybe to write Jon Moxley off. I felt like the exploding ring bit was supposed to write him off, but then the poof was it wasn't very good on that one. So they're going to be doing something here to potentially write off Jon Moxley so he can go do more real life things on that particular side of it. So I'm going to go with the Young Bucks on this one. I do think it makes sense as well. I feel like Eddie Kingston and Moxley have been kind of getting one over on the Bucks a little bit, a good chunk of the time on this, especially I think in the most recent episode, they ended up stealing like the shoes and socks from the Bucks to go along with it after a match. They knocked them out, everything to go along with it. So I feel like it would make sense for the Bucks to go over in this particular match in keeping those AEW tag team titles. Up next is going to be Cody Rhodes going up against Anthony Gogo. Um, yeah. Yeah, this one went into that area of it's America versus Great Britain when it really didn't need to on that particular side. Like they had the whole thing with QT Marshall, and Anthony Gogo was part of the students that went with QT, who turned on Cody, everything like that, and they could have kept it pretty much just to that, but they decided to go this other route to go along with it, and it makes me feel like that there's a good potential that Anthony Agogo actually pulls out the victory on this one because he is one of Cody's students. And when you really think about it, even though they're doing this storyline, he is still one of Cody's students, and he probably wouldn't mind putting them over in some way, shape, or form. Again, it is young talent potentially going over more established talent. But also, there's that piece of me that makes it feel like that maybe Anthony Agogo is a little too early at this moment in his training, and to get pushed even further at that point. So I'm actually going to go with Cody in this match. That's right. I'm going to go with Cody in this particular match to go over. I've not been a big fan of their individual storyline about this, and I do feel like QT's faction is going to need to get some kind of big win at some point in time. And I don't think it would necessarily um, be QT Marshall beating Cody or anything to go along with that. And don't get me wrong, QT's faction is getting wins. Like you had Austin Gunn getting beaten up by Anthony Ogogo, everything like that. They've been really putting over Anthony Ogogo's punching power with that. And I feel like they're going to do that again here in this particular one, but I find it to where that maybe Cody just ends out pulling out the victory on this one. Could be completely wrong on that side, but you never know with that one. So I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. So this brings us to the AEW TNT title match. It is going to be Miro going up against Lex Archer. I feel like this is going to be a good match overall. In the end, you're going to probably see that vicious side of Miro again that we've been seeing a lot more recently to go along with it. And it's just too soon for Miro to lose that TNT title. So I'm going to go with Miro in this one. Though I do find this match will probably be a very enjoyable match to go along with it. But Miro's going to keep that title. Now, this is going to bring us to the AEW Women's Championship match. It is going to be Hikaru Shida going up against Britt Baker. And this storyline basically goes back to last year. Like, before they went back to Daly's place to film all of the AEW shows, this goes all the way back to the warehouse days where they were filming Dynamite in a warehouse, and they at the beginning of the pandemic, and they filmed a bunch of stuff inside of there, where Hikaru Shida had busted open Britt Baker in a match where she broke her with an accidental blow, broke her nose on that one. So this goes all the way back to there with that. Ever since they've been bringing back Britt Baker into the title picture, she has been kind of punking out. She has been getting the upper hand on Hikaru Shida the entire time, even to the point of doing a curb stomp onto the title belt on this one. So I feel like they've been giving the upper hand so much to Britt Baker at this point that they could just keep it going and have her put that title on her. I mean, for a decent amount of people, it is probably even time for Hikaru Shida to drop that title. She has held it for over a year at this point, since last year's Double or Nothing on that one. But I feel like with that aspect of how much they've put over Britt Baker, and yes, I have not watched Friday's Dynamite yet on that one, but I feel like they put her over so much going into this match, even to the point that she held up the title, it was holding up the title, that they're going to go with Hikaru Shida on this one. And I do feel like they're going to continue on this, and they're going to have another match. And I do feel like Britt Baker's eventually going to get that title, but it's not here. Uh, I just have that feeling. I don't know if that's going to be the actual case on that one, but I am going to go with Hikaru Shida on this one. Could be completely wrong. It could just be Britt Baker's time to have that title, but I don't know. I feel like they may go the other way on this one. So this brings us up to the Stadium Stampede match. It is going to be the Pinnacle going up against the Inner Circle, and there's a lot of word going around that this match is going to be a lot different from last year's. I did enjoy last year's Stampede match, the Stadium Stampede match. I found it very enjoyable. It was probably it was a lot of haha and a little bit of a good chunk of comedy throughout that match. It feels like that maybe they're going to go a separate route in this particular one. I mean, they are playing it off that the Inner Circle is going to disband if they lose, everything to go along with that. And I'm actually going to go with that as well. I'm going to go with Pinnacle winning. I don't necessarily feel like it is time for the Pinnacle to be losing a big match. And they can, and based off of a few other things there, that they can actually go with a way where they decide to have the Pinnacle go over, and they could still somewhat continue the feud down the line in other ways. But it feels like it's almost time. It's been almost 2 years since the Inner Circle have been there. They've already teased breakups, everything like that throughout the entire time as well. It's maybe time that they do a split up to where they're not just feuding with each other. Now, what does everybody do afterwards? Who knows on that one. But I feel like it's time that they're going to be going their separate way on this one. So I'm going to go with the Pinnacle winning the Stadium Stampede match. It'll be interesting to see how they play this off, especially because they have a live crowd versus last year where there was, no live crowd to go along with it. So this is going to bring us to the main event of the night. It is going to be the AEW championship match. The heavyweight championship match is going to be a triple threat. For the first time, AEW is doing a triple threat for the title, maybe for any title. Yeah, I think for even any title at this point. That is the first time it's a triple threat on this. It is going to be Kenny Omega going up against Pac and going up against Orange Cassidy. It's not time. Like, they're already in the beginnings of this Kenny Omega belt collecting phase, and it's just not time for him to lose that AEW title. I would agree that maybe the AEW title is the first one he loses, and then subsequently loses the other titles afterwards to go along with it. But it's not time on this one. So Kenny Omega is going to be my pick for this particular match. It'll be interesting to see who they decide to have take the fall in this one, everything to go along with that, whether they decide to have or basically whomever takes that pinfall, whether it be Orange Cassidy or Pac, or however it ends out going. That will be will be one of the other interesting aspects of this one. I feel like they're going to be doing more with Orange Cassidy and Kenny Omega afterwards, just based off of the interactions that they have had, down the line, or recently. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Pac is going to be the one that takes the pinfall, because I feel like they could play off the aspect down the line as well. Like, they could go either way, but they could also play off the aspect that, Kenny Omega just can't beat Pac on that, or to its own degree, though I believe Kenny did get that victory in the Iron Man match, so I guess they don't necessarily have to play off of that for that one. But in this case, it'll be interesting to see who takes the pinfall, but it's going to be Kenny Omega that's eventually going to win this particular match. And that is it for predictions for AEW's Double or Nothing. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. If you did on that one, leave a thumbs up, a like, subscribe if you want. We will be doing predictions pretty much for every pay-per-view. And if I do have more time on my hands based off of work and other things that I am doing, maybe we'll start doing some pay-per-view reviews to go along with that. But with that being said, everybody, take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great rest of your day.